Hey, trainers, Poke Dad here, along with the Dancing Bear at first base.
KK Shiv 128.
Great beast in his natural habitat.
Right here.
And looks a little odd us wearing the same shirts here. We just got back from a baseball game, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do we got in store for everybody?
Well, it's kind of like a 200 subscriber little deal. So, we're going to be going over our top picks for the new sets, the 3 new sets that are being combined into one.
Largest set ever.
Yeah.
It's over 200 cards.
So, we're doing our top 5. And here they are.
Your top 5 and my top 5. And then we'll get into some honorable mentions. Who's being leveraged here?
Ink Gaming, of course. They give us everything that we need for playmats, dice bag, just anything we need.
Any customizable tabletop gaming needs, they are your answer. Go check them out. Check out our link in the description with our coupon code to get you a nice discount. And yeah, it's super easy. Check it out. And without further ado, let's get into the Dancing Bears top 5.
All right, starting it off with number 5, I got Macargo GX and Macargo. I think it's a really good deck that was surprising, and it got 9th place. It was 9th?
9th or 12th, yeah.
9th, 12th, or was it 15th?
I think it would have. All right, continue on.
We're not too sure, but it ranked really high. And when I was playing it, I liked the deck a lot. I thought it was really good, and it was quite a lot of fun to play.
Okay, let me real quick. These aren't necessarily what we think are the best individual cards, but also what is going to have the biggest impact on the meta, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you might see some in the list that you're thinking, oh, that's not going to, that one card's not going to be super awesome, but then again, overall, it may impact the meta more. So, like, one card may be in the winning deck, but there may be one card that's in multiple decks that make top 32, if that makes sense. So we went for the cards that would have the biggest impact. Now, Macargo, I like it. I think it's great. I think the problem with that is a lot of people just didn't play it.
Yeah.
Or didn't try it out.
I think many people were like, oh, it's only good in expanded, so I'm just not going to try it in standard.
I don't necessarily agree with that because Japan doesn't really have an expanded meta.
Oh.
But I think they opted to play other stuff rather than try the Macargo, because if they had really tested and tried the Macargo, they would see how awesome and how really good it is. So
when I said that, I say it like it was my first opinion about the card. Like, I didn't think it was that good. I thought it would only be good and expanded with Blacksmith.
Well, we thought it would be good, but we didn't think it would be like
as good as
from our testing. That's another thing is we did an original evaluation on all these cards, and so our evaluation looking back has probably changed from where it is today, and that's because we've tested every single viable card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not like every single card, but the cards that we kind of had an idea that would be solid going into the next format. We definitely dove right in and tested. And Macargo is definitely underrated. It's underappreciated, underrated. Definitely here pretty soon we'll be posting one of our lists, and I would definitely recommend checking it out and giving it a try for yourself because it's really good.
Yeah, it is.
All right, and that's your 5th spot. What you got for 4th place?
I got Grand Bull, with Macargo, not the GX, but the Macargo with Smooth Over, and Oranguru with Instruct. And this deck was also surprisingly good. There was like 3 main decks that were, wow, that's surprising. It's really good. And that's Macargo, scramble, and one of your picks. And I think it's just a really good card. 1 energy, 190 on a 1 prize attacker Pokemon.
Yeah, for 1 energy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Now, the skill cap for this deck is really high. So it's not something that you can just pick up and be real comfortable with it. It's going to take a lot of testing, a lot of getting comfortable with it, but I completely agree. It's really awesome. It would probably be higher on your list, but the skill cap is really high for it. Being able to get no cards in hand every single turn you want to attack is very difficult, and it's very skill-based. So
I think it's hard because sometimes you don't want to instruct for 3 cards exactly. Sometimes you want to only instruct for 2 or even 1 card. You got to know what you're going to grab, know how your prizes are going to affect your turn next turn. And it's hard.
Definitely high skill cap, and I think that's why we only saw one of these decks in the top 32. The more people test and get comfortable with it, I think you'll see more and more and more.
You're right.
I think we're slowly moving into we've kind of been in a non-GX meta with the Baby Buzz and Malamar decks.
The Shrine decks.
So, yeah, it's going to be solid going forward. So, all right, what's your number 3?
I got Ninetales GX. I think it really combos well with Buzzrock. I think that's my favorite variants with it. We saw it perform very well in the Japanese tournament, and I can see why when I tested it, because just grabbing 2 B strings right from your deck and then putting them into play, it's super good. Or even if you're having a bad hand, then you can grab Ultra Ball and then Ultra Ball for Lele and get yourself out of that hand. I think it has quite a lot of uses, and I think it's really good.
I think when people see Ninetales, they immediately see, oh, it's Fairy type, let's pair it up with Gardevoir. And I actually think that's the weakest Ninetales version from our testing. The Buzzrock version, folks, it's legit. It is for real. Buzzrock with Ninetales is amazing. But I think, and I'll get into a little more detail, like the Celebi that we just kind of posted. It's a new concept, but it definitely has potential. Skill cap's super high on the Celebi deck, but I can see Ninetales being teched into a lot of different archetypes.
Yeah.
So we can continue that discussion because it's on my list too. Spoiler alert. Number 2 for the Dancing Bear.
It's Shuckle. And I think because it's a meta changer, it releases so many archetypes in standard and in expanded. And it just opens up the whole format.
Tip of the iceberg with Shuckle, folks. It opens the door for a lot of things that weren't possible to all of a sudden become possible.
I think my favorite in standard is the Zeraora with Rayquaza. I like that variant a lot, and I think it's really good.
I go back and forth on the Turbo Zeraora and the Zeraora Rayquaza. I go back and forth. Definitely in our first version of Turbo Yellow Monkey, I would hands down say Yellow Monkey Rayquaza is the way to go. But after we retuned and redialed in the Turbo version, I think it's slightly above the Rayquaza version. I really do. Zoro Eggs, that's talking about the Zoro Executor for Standard.
I thought it was pretty good when I tried it.
Get 3 different types of energy straight away in the discard with Shuckle. Expanded, you have that Ho-Ho with Rebirth. That you
flip a coin. If heads, pull it out of the discard pile, put it onto your bench with 3 different basic energies. Just right onto it.
You could possibly play it with Bronzong or Eel, different variants. I don't know if he replaces Battle Compressor, but I like him as a one-of tech, just kind of theory modding. I like him as a one-of tech in like the Bronzong and Eels deck, you know?
Yeah.
Where there's not really anything where you can quickly grab a Battle Compressor aside from Ninetales. So getting a Shuckle and then getting some metal or some electric in the discard is solid. I mean, that's usually what you want in Bronzong or Eels deck, so or Malamar deck. So, all right. Anything else on number 2?
It's really good.
All right. So what's number 1?
May look weird, but I'm talking about like the actual thing. It looks pretty weird, but it's Ditto, and it's just it kind of breaks the format, like, and breaks the rules because you're only allowed to run 4 of each card at most, except for basic energies, and this just allows you to run 5. So it bends the rules, and it makes just the Zoroark deck so strong with 5 Zoras or anything else. One of like a Lycanroc, Exeggutor, Pod. Just, it's so good.
Yeah. The versatility and use of Ditto is just off the chain. Any sort of stage 1, stage 2 deck needs to be playing Ditto. There's no reason not, especially Zoroark decks where they're only playing stage 1 and usually like Gliscopod or Lycanroc or Macargo. There's no reason not to play Ditto, right?
Right.
None whatsoever. It gives you a level of versatility that we've never seen before. I would say it's on the same level as Puzzle of Time in how versatile you can make your opening bench. You know, typically, let's say let's pretend Bridget. You know, you get your 2 Zeroas and a Ditto. Okay. Well, now what you can do, or you would do 2 Zeroas and a Rockruff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you do 1 for sure Zorua, 1 for sure Rockruff, and Ditto. So it's no longer they can target just the Rockruff, and then you're kind of screwed, right? Because you can ultimately evolve the Ditto into Lycanroc.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it to where they can't just Guzma up your Rockruff or something, and then you have to find another one. Well, Ditto's there, and he can act like Rockruff. So it adds a level of versatility in these decks. And that's just Zoroark as an example, but Zoroark Buzzwole, Zoroark Pod, Macargo GX decks, Gardevoir, Grambles, Zoroartina,
there's so many
in
options.
Excelgor, Trevenant, Eels, Vespiquen. We could just go on and on and on. It just opens the door. It is by far the most impactful card in the set. And I would argue it's probably the most impactful card we've seen since Cynthia, Guzma, and Lele, to where it's in almost every deck. I don't think it quite has the impact as like where people are going to all of a sudden be playing 2 or 3 Leles or 4 Cynthia or 4 Guzma. Because obviously it being a Prism Star, people can only play 1. But if it wasn't a Prism Star, I definitely see people could play 2 or 3 copies of it.
Yeah, of course. You can just fridge it for 3 Dittos.
Not even run a basic form of anything. Just run 4 Dittos and they could act as your basic. If it wasn't Prism Star, it would just be out of control.
Yep. So. And you can rescue Stretcher it back.
But it being Prism Star, yeah, you can't do that.
You can go.
It's still awesome. Awesome. It's number 1.
It's so great it affects expanded too.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into
your
Poke Dad's top 5. Number 5, I've got Blacephalon GX with Naganadel and Ultra Space. And we saw it do super good in the Japanese meta, and we've tested it a lot. And folks, it's legit. Standard with Naganadel, it's really good. It's going to be one of the top tier decks. It's tier 1 from day 1 of its release. It's all that. The Lost Zone is back. It's awesome. Definitely pick up 4 of, because you want to be playing 4 of in your deck. The GX attack is really good. Its first attack is honestly kind of garbage. It confuses and burns. Yeah.
You said Lost March is back. Lost Zone.
Or the Lost Zone is back. So, I tell you what though, people, you need to look at it and expand it with Blacksmith and Volcanion. That's where it's at. That's the good goods.
It's so fast.
You thought Zoroark and all these other decks were fast, but think about this. If you play 4 Battle Compressor, 4 Blacksmith,
4 Max Elixir.
4 Max Elixirs, okay?
4 Blacephalon.
4 Blacephalon. So it gets in the active. Attach for turn. Battle Compress some energy and the Blacksmith. Via Secret for the Blacksmith. Attach those 2. Maybe you get a Volcanion with a Steam Up. You're one-shotting anything. Or maybe you have Choice Band.
It's 180. And then on Choice Band, 210.
It is so awesome and expanded. There is nothing faster than it in expanded. It is just insane. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's going to be ridiculously good in standard, but it's that much better in expanded. Anything else you want to add to that?
It's a great deck.
It is. Standard version or expanded, which we'll try to have our list for both up fairly quick, because definitely want to grab it and start testing. So, all right, my number 4, I've got Professor Elm's Lecture. We've been needing this for a while, so we don't have to rely on Nest Ball and all this other garbage.
Netball, Timer Ball, Great Ball.
So now we've got, in ways I like it better in some decks than Bridget. In other ways I don't like it better than Bridget.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I like that you can put it in your hand rather than it has to go to the bench. So I really like that aspect. I think overall Bridget's a little better, but
for some decks, Professor Elms is better.
For a Lost March, it's much better.
Because you can
Bridget.
grab the evolution also.
Yep, that's the thing. You can grab the stage 1 or stage 2 possibly if its HP is 60 or less, which those are rare occasions, but I'm looking at number 3 and I can grab everything with Professor M other than that.
But you don't want to grab it because
I can use this ability to grab it, which
we'll get there later.
So Elm, really good, and any Zoroark variant's going to be running it, and Lost March is definitely going to be running it, so I like it. Expanded, it doesn't replace Bridget, but for standard, it's definitely better than running all those Nest Balls and Timer Balls and this, that, and other, so it ups the consistency.
I forgot about the card. Making my list.
Dancing Bear forgets about a card. Number 3,
It's okay, though.
I've got Lost March. There were a bunch in the top 32, not so much Masters, but through the seniors and juniors. It's legit. It's really good.
The new Night March.
It is, and in ways I like it better than old plain Night March. I think this is, I think it's a lot of fun to play. Whereas Night March was kind of boring. A Battle Compressor 3 Lampet, Battle Compressor the 4th Lampet, and probably a couple supporters, Sycamore and Guzma. And I never liked Night March, but playing Lost March, I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's good too. I think it's really good.
It plays different because you're not looking to just dump all it. You have to evolve and then use abilities, and then you got to use your abilities well timed, so you're not just searching your deck and then you don't find the evolution.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's a lot of fun. Definitely proxy some cards and try it out. It's good and it's a lot of fun. So moving on to my number 2, surprise. Ninetales GX will have a huge impact on the format, both standard and expanded. Watch for the combo decks abusing the ability, especially in expanded. Shocklock Celebi. Now, standard with Celebi Prism Star, it's just a concept right now that we've been working on, but it has the ability to lock your opponent out because of if they're not playing Escape Rope, Switch, or Dawnwing's Necrozma,
or Lycanroc.
Or Lycanroc Bloodthirsty Eyes, they have no way to get out of the lock. And that seems like a lot, but I mean, there's a lot of decks out there that don't play Escape Rope or Switch or Lycanroc or Dawnwings. So I think we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg with Ninetales on what it's capable of. The sort of combos, grabbing any 2 items and putting straight to your hand is just insane. Imagine if puzzle wasn't banned and you could grab 2 puzzles just by evolving the Ninetales.
One puzzle or something else.
I fully expect to see a Celebi, Raichu EvoShock, Devo Spray, Ninetales, possibly Stoutland, some sort of sick, insane combo with the Ninetales. It just opens the door. It doesn't even open the door. It just blows the door straight off the hinge on what's possible. It adds a level of consistency, being able to grab 2 rare candy for your Decidueye deck, or
a rare candy and Tiger Ball.
It just so good. Cannot say enough about it. Decent attacks too, 70 and 30. And the GX is really good too. If it's an Ultra Beast, it's automatically KO'd. So
they knew what they were making with the Blacephalon deck.
So
they're like, stop that.
So Ninetales busted, awesome, abuse it. Watch for the combo decks. Combo breaker.
And then Ditto.
And then number 1, Ditto. He's the star of the set, hands down. Ninetales is a close second, but I still say Ditto is by far number 1.
I think you can run Ditto in just more decks.
That's kind of how we made this list, is what's going to have more of an impact. And I think Ditto makes more of an impact, but that's the thing. Ditto makes Ninetales that much stronger.
Yeah, you can use Ditto with Ninetales.
So, both. You could make the argument to flip-flop them. Mm-hmm. You could, but I still think Ditto's number 1, right?
For sure.
Okay.
I don't think you could flip-flop. I think, as you said, Ditto is the star of the set, hands down.
It is.
Not debatable.
Okay. We'll stick with it. Ditto's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, some honorable mentions?
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. You want to talk about yours real quick?
I got Shedinja as one of my honorable mentions because, I mean, his ability, you discard the previous evolution, and then it's a Life Dew, which Life Dew was so good they had to make it an A-Spect. Anything that's good enough to be an A-Spect.
It's reminiscent of the old Klefki where you attach it as a tool, and then if your opponent's...
Klefki.
Yeah.
Klefki is when you attached it to any Pokemon, it prevents Megas from doing damage to it.
Right, it's reminiscent to Klefki where you can discard it and attach it as a tool.
In that effect, yes.
So it's not reminiscent to Klefki.
Well, it's more like Life Dew.
Yeah, but it's more like Klefki because you discard it and you attach it as a tool.
But it's quite a lot like Life Dew.
But it's more like Klefki.
Sure.
So,
You think what you
definitely playing this in our Vespiquen deck because Life Dew was already busted in the Vespiquen deck for expanded. So, let's just throw more Pokemon in the discard and let's attach it and not let them get a prize. That seems pretty good, huh?
Sounds pretty good, Cotton.
Keep an eye out for that list coming soon. Poke Dad's still working on it.
You want to just flip-flop? Or I go through all of mine and you go through all of yours.
Go for yours. Go. What you got?
Sigilif GX. Its abilities, it's pretty okay. Just once you hit it, it hits you back for the same amount. So I think that's pretty okay.
It's tricky in that if you have, if you're looking to one-shot it, so a lot of stuff doesn't hit exactly 170, so it hits like 180, 190. And then if your Pokemon has 190, well, you're knocked out too. And then Sigilif,
It can also hit for 80, and its GX attack does 60 times the number of energies attached to your opponent's Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a good card. We didn't see it do well in Japan. I think people are still trying to figure out a way to play it, but I like Shedinja with the Sigilif.
And Malamar.
And Malamar, yes sir.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And also Hoopa, the Dark Hoopa, it doesn't affect it because it does 80 and it goes through all things on the opposing Pokemon. So that's a plus side. And then another one that I have is Shuckle GX, which its ability is also super good. It can be a lot of good. It can be a good one-off tech in quite a lot of decks. With its ability, if your opponent's Pokemon has 2 energy
2 or less
or
energy.
less,
Yep.
then they can't do any damage to it. And its attacks are both colorless. Its first one does poison, and then between turns, you put 3 instead of 1 damage counter. And then its GX attack does 40 and paralysis. So,
I like it as one of tech in certain decks. Definitely good stall and buy you some time. So it's good. I agree. It's right on the fringe. I don't see it being its standalone deck. We had thought about
Shuckle hammers.
Shuckle with crushing hammers, enhanced hammers, and then Survivors, right, to up the poison even more. But
we didn't think it was enough.
We didn't think the numbers were there, honestly. Even with the Survivor army on the bench, you're still looking at 3-shotting stuff,
Yeah.
We felt like you couldn't remove enough energy to sustain 3 turns. So that's why you haven't seen a Shuckle Survivor deck. So
Next, I got Thunder Mountain, the Prism Star Stadium, which I kind of like to see and I kind of don't. They can be confusing if you just have a pile of Prism Stars in one part and then your stadium on another. Then sometimes it can be confusing about which one's in play and which one's not. But other than that, the lightning Pokemon's attacks cost one less lightning. So stuff like Yellow Monkey, it now takes 1 lightning, 1 colorless, and that's pretty good to hit 160 with 2 energies. So I think it finally gives electric Pokemon something that they're needing, something that's good, something that they can claim as their own and only theirs, because they haven't gotten enough love.
yeah, and we'll get into the Yellow Monkey. And while I think there's a lot of good stuff starting to happen for electric, I don't think it's enough yet. But we'll get into that. So next, what you got?
Might be a little hard to see what it is. Maybe not knowing what it does. A little overviewed, but it's Victini. And its attack for a fire colorless, it does 20 times the number of bench Pokemon. Now at first that doesn't sound good. But in expanded, when there's Blacksmith, Volcanion, Choice Band, Skyfield, and you can just hit for 210 for 2 energies on a basic, it's pretty good.
Yeah, Dancing Bear pitched this to me for a new Blacksmith idea. Because we actually think Fire is going to be one of the best going into expanded. I know Toad's still going to be around, still going to be awesome. Love my Toad, but I
love my Victini.
I think Fire's in a really good spot right now, and I think you could catch a lot of decks off guard. The speed's there, folks. If you can figure out a way to Blacksmith all the while of filling up your bench, then he's taking some big one-shots, some big one-hits.
And you can even use Giratina, which you named Naganadel.
Yep. Giratina to, what?
You named it Naganadel.
Oh, they're switched around. I got you. All right, on my side. Yeah. We can fix it when we come to it. So, I think Victini is good for expanded. Not standard.
Not quite an expanded.
Last card for you.
Counter Gain. It also can be used with Yellow Monkey and anything else. I think it's a really good card.
If you're down in prizes, attach it as a tool. The attack cost is 1 colorless less.
I think it also provides quite a lot of variety in the decks. Like, you can even use it as a one-of tech, and it's pretty good. Like in the Celebi deck, you can use it and just put your lock.
Works good in the Celebi deck. Or anything else, I could see it working with Shuckle too, because it's one attack, so attack for free.
You can put in anything. You can put in Sigilif, Shuckle, Victini.
I like it in the Ninetales deck. 1 fairy energy and you attack. And you can grab it with Ninetales ability. So, I like it. I like it as more of a tech card rather than playing a whole bunch of them. No more than, say, 2 in a deck. But it could work good in, like, counter decks. Even your Zark counter decks that usually depend on counter energy or such. So, alright. I like it. For mine, Xerneas Prism Star, it has the ability when it comes into play, you can move it from your bench to the active, and if you do, attach as many fairy energies from your Pokemon to it as you like.
Was it Dragonite that had that same ability?
Yeah, it was kind of like Dragonite or even Coco. Coco GX has that kind of same ability, so... And it's got 160 for 3 fairy. It can't attack again, so you have to switch it out. So
pretty good in Gardevoir.
I like it in Gardevoir as your non-GX attacker. So your Gardevoir, Ninetales, Xerneas. At first, we kind of played with the non-GX Gardevoir and the Xerneas. But after our testing, we definitely like just the Xerneas rather than the Gardevoir.
Right.
So... it's good. I honestly think it's probably lowest on the honorable mentions. So, next we have Netball.
I think it's between it, Victini, Sigilif, and Shedinja. I think those are the 4 probably lower ones because they don't have too much variety. You can only really put them in a couple of decks.
Netball, search your deck for a basic grass energy and put it in your hand, or search your deck for a basic grass Pokemon. Put it in your deck. I like it in Decidueye. I like it in Vespiquen variants. I like it. I can see it in Gliscopod variants. I think there's a lot of value in it. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, now you said I had them mixed up, so we'll call this one Naganadel. Perfect combo with Blacephalon. It has the ability, once during your turn, you can attach a basic energy from your discard to it. So, a little different than Bronzong or Malamar or Eels, that it doesn't have to be on the bench. It can be anywhere. Attach it straight to it. And it's got a good attack too. 80, and if your opponent has 3 prizes, it does 80 more. So 160. So
160 choice band.
So it's definitely good. Works out perfect with Blazifen. So
And a great Buzzwell counter.
Yep. Grab you 4 of these, because most of the Blazifen decks are running a 4/4, if not a 4, the 1 Ditto, and then 3 or 4 Giratina. So
Giratina. Naganado.
Alright. It's confusing me. So I'll pick up at least 3, if not 4. Alright. Let's skip Yellow Monkey for now. Let's go to Sightseer. Discard as many cards as you want from your hand, then draw up to 5. So it's kind of like Sophocles, but better.
Yeah.
I like it in the Malamar decks. I like it possibly in the Yellow Monkey decks. I like it in Rayquaza decks. We can get some nice energy in the discard and then draw. So I definitely think it's a good option besides Lily and Cynthia to run a couple Sightseer. I like that.
You said a lot of the Japanese players were playing it, right?
A lot of the Japanese players are playing Sightseer along with Lily and Cynthia. So they're already kind of on the same page as us. So we definitely like Sightseer.
They're on the same page as us, or we're on the same page as them?
Both. We're all on the same page, so it doesn't matter. Giratina.
The expanded beast.
Okay. We've looked at the Malamar standard decks that have Giratina in it. Not really liking it, right?
Right.
Not really liking it in the standard versions of Malamar and stuff like that. Not feeling it. But we had already kind of thought, Theirymon, it's perfect with Zoroark and expanded. Pulling it from the discard, you have Skyfield.
Is it the same as eggs?
Yeah, same as eggs, but now you're setting up the numbers even better for Zoroark to one-shot them. And, folks, it is insane. It's kind of like my 5.5 on my list. If we did a top 6, this would be the number 6. It is so good, the Giratina. To put that 2 damage counters on 2 separate Pokemon, and then
1 damage on 2 separate.
Yeah, and then you battle compress 3 of them, pull all 3. That's 3 damage counters. It's even really good in the mirror match against Zoroark, because now Zoroark's down to 180.
And you can even use it with Victini.
So
to hit better numbers.
Giratina is awesome. Pick up 4. Definitely pick up 4, and I think you can make an argument for it breaking into the top 5. So
yeah.
So far, I think the best way to play it was with Zoroark and expanded that we've found from our testing. So, all right, and finally on the honorable mentions, we have the Yellow Monkey, which people repeatedly keep telling me it's a cat. What do you think about that? Is it a cat or a monkey?
Let me take a quick look at this playmat.
I can see the argument that people think it's a cat, but I also kind of see like it's like some kind of weird monkey.
I'm sad to say that it kind of does look like a cat.
It probably is a cat, but Yellow Monkey sounds awesome, folks.
Yeah, how many yellow monkeys have we seen?
Which sounds cooler, Yellow Cat or Yellow Monkey?
We already have too many cats.
Yellow Monkey sounds a lot better. It may be a cat, but let's go with Yellow Monkey.
Yeah, it's a monkey.
I like Yellow Monkey. It just sounds more awesome.
I saw a kid at National. I saw a kid at I think it was Dallas Regionals. They had it on their shoulder Why would you put a cat on your shoulder?
See, why would you put a cat on your shoulder? So clearly it's a yellow monkey.
Yeah, everyone would put a monkey on their shoulder.
Exactly. All right, so yellow monkey, super, super good. Awesome. Love the ability. Free retreat. Great attack. Two lightning, one colorless, 160. Can't attack again. The GX is just busted, broken. Pull 5 energy out of the discard attached to any of your Pokemon. It's like Nitro Tank.
It's a mix of Turtonator, Lapras, and Manphy. All into one.
So, really awesome. The only problem is his weakness, folks. Baby Buzz and Giant Buzz are not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They are here to stay. Okay?
Weakness policy is still pretty hard because you want to put a choice band on it.
Yeah, you gotta hit the numbers unless you use the electro powers and that sort of stuff. So
you only get unlimited of electro powers, though.
I mean, I like it, and that's why in that sense I like it with Rayquaza, but I think the turbo version's stronger against the rest of the meta. But so long as Baby Buzz and Big Buzz are around, it's gonna struggle.
I also think that it's gonna be kind of hard to find weakness policy.
So
unless you run a high number of them, which makes the deck inconsistent.
It would be higher on the list, but there weren't any Japanese decks that played it in the top 32. I don't believe.
Nope.
And so, and that's a shame because it is a super, super good card, but that weakness is gonna hold it back. And you know, honestly, I don't understand that because like, look at Buzzwall's weakness and look at all the really good Psychic Pokemon and Psychic decks out there. But does that slow down Buzzwall?
No.
No, and I think that's more of a tribute to how powerful Lycanroc is to able to withstand that weakness and overcome it. So
with the grass. What were you?
Buzzwall is weak to Psychic.
Oh, they complement each other nicely.
But with Lycanroc, it being weak to grass rather than Psychic, just helps Buzzwall overcome the weakness.
And then now you have Xerneas to make even another weakness.
So, I think Rayquaza could be that partner with Yellow Monkey in that sense, like Lycanroc. But we'll just have to wait and see. Because I don't think that version's as good as just straight Turbo Yellow Monkey. So, we'll see though. But I wouldn't put it... I would put the Giratina number 6.
I think if I remembered about Elm, I'd put it in my top 6.
So, that's all we got, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully it didn't take too long. But there's a lot of cards, a lot of great cards. This set is phenomenal.
Not too long, just 43 minutes.
So the set is phenomenal. I would not recommend buying boosters. I would get exactly what you need. And we're here to help you with the exact counts you need on each card as best we can. Just kind of what you see off of this is pretty much what we are going to purchase.
It's either 4 or 1.
So, yeah. So, that's what we got. And you got anything else?
No.
All right. So, be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.